All right, Reggie, before we get into today's segment, is there anything you'd like to speak on or talk about before we get going?
Yeah. Once again, y'all know me. I believe in the signs over here. No, a lot of y'all don't, but oh well. Shout out to the Virgos, the Virgo gang. Happy birthday to all you people that's born during that time of the month, or people in September. Maybe we'll just start doing months, say month of September, January, February. Maybe we'll start that at the beginning of the year, since a lot of y'all don't believe in signs for whatever reason. Y'all so goddamn sensitive. Ah, Choke no joke, where you at? That's what you get. Hopefully you'll be back in a couple of weeks, but your boyfriend wanted you to have a little vacation, so I made sure you got a couple of weeks vacation. Uh, let's see, what else? Mobbing with James. Mobbing with James McDonald. Y'all, please go over there and subscribe to that channel. A lot of y'all been doing a great job. I asked on the live stream last week to get him to 8,000. Shit, we're going to get him to 9,000 before him and John start taping. I know they're supposed to start taping next week sometime. So make sure y'all go over there and subscribe so y'all can get a notification, because they're going to be doing lives 3 days a week. And they're going to be doing up-to-date stuff. Current events. Not this week, 2 week stuff that Reggie Wright be doing. Another thing on the intro, before we get started, John, I wanted to do, my boy always helped us out and shout me out on his IG. So I want to shout him out. I know a lot of y'all don't like my boy Wack 100, but his girl R&B, I tell y'all, she's a good young lady. Very cool young lady. She did a book. I think even Wack co-authored it with her, and called Ego Exposed. That should be coming out. If it's not online on Amazon, it will be coming out. But if y'all can go check that out, pick that book up. She giving relationship advice, how to deal with being cheated on. And yeah, y'all go check it out. They doing some, I guess, some Kevin Samuel stuff, him and his wife, him and his girl together. So if y'all can go check their book out. If you can't do it for Wack, I understand. But do it for R&B, I'm telling you. She's a cool chick. Other than that, man, let's get going.
Okay. I know we talked about it on a live stream, but for those that weren't able to tune in, I wanted to get your thoughts and your opinion on this Daz post that he made on Instagram, where it's a Death Row Records logo with bullet holes in it, and he's got a caption calling Snoop Dogg Snoop Knight, and basically implying that he's done with Death Row for now. I just wanted to get your thoughts.
Yeah. Well, like I tell you all the time, Daz bipolar. Daz really have mental issues. Y'all get mad. Y'all say, okay, all right. Well, I just let people play it out. And what Reggie Wright says usually come true. So Daz is just dealing with his issues, right? So he gets mad. He's probably mad at Snoop behind something with money or something like that, or felt like his album probably should have been out. I hear it's supposed to be coming out this week or something like that. Me and John got a little personal wager going on. I think he's gonna do some songs dissing Snoop. John don't believe there's gonna be any songs on there where he's dissing Snoop. But I understand why it wouldn't be too smart for Daz to do too much of dissing of Snoop, because once you do that, you be like me and Suge. Ain't no turning back. But hey, I'll just warn y'all, don't get too deep, too invested into family when they're fighting. Daz and Snoop are cousins. Soon as that Snoop got a reason for Daz to make some money, Daz will be right over there like a little whore that he is. Because I always tell y'all, Daz loved the shine more than he loves the gold. If y'all know what I mean by that. He loves being seen. I tell y'all go back and look at any Death Row videos where there were party scenes or something where it was more than just the artist in it. Daz was in those videos. Daz used to be at the video shoots before the production crew, before security came. I used to show up and it'd be like 8 in the morning, you know. That's when they there setting up. And Daz to be there posted up. He'd be there posted up waiting for, trying to talk to the director so make sure he get a cameo somehow. Which was smart in my opinion, on his behalf, being a young and upcoming artist. But that's how Daz is. You know, that's why you see so many videos back in the day in the late 90s, early 2000s with Daz pretty much had a video to every one of his songs. He was big on doing videos. He loved videos. So that's all I take from that. There must be something going on behind some money where he feels his publishing or his royalties not getting taken care of, or either he felt an album should have had a little bit more production or promotion for it, but they don't realize that Snoop really only care about that logo. Snoop just care about selling that merchandise. He do not really care about breaking or trying to break any artists. He lucked up with that dude London. London, he was nominated for a Grammy this year. I can't tell you one song that he sung, but but apparently, he's a decent artist, and so he lucked up on that. But he is not really trying to push an artist, because if he was, well, he would be doing a lot more with some younger artists and not all of the has-beens from the 90s. But anyway, that's all I take from it. Hey, Daz, bipolar. Daz is the biggest liar that you're going to ever hear of on YouTube. And, well, no. I think Fat Joe got him. Suge Knight, then Daz, right? But other than that, I don't know. But yeah, that would be my take. Shout out Daz. Good luck. And see you in court real soon.
I know it was before social media and all that stuff, but when Daz was at death row, did he do similar things where he would lash out or he would get mad over certain things and then act out? Or is this something new that he did once social media came around and he had like an audience that he could instantly show his emotions to?
Yeah, well, then y'all hear Dad say he beat up me and Suge and body slammed us and all of that. Don't y'all remember those lies? Well, so he would get emotional and all of that, start crying and stuff like that. But I do remember one incident where Daz knew Suge and I were out of town, and thank you, Daz. That got me finally the contract at the office, because Suge used to just have the homeboys at the office doing security. But after you went up there with that stunt chasing Roy, little Roy weighed 120 pounds, if that, maybe 130 pounds. Soaking wet, chasing him around in the office with a screwdriver when you try to act like he was so tough, and you walked out there with a check. Y'all remember that story Daz told. Well, some stories people tell have some truth to it. He did chase Roy around the office. Suge was out of town. Suge wasn't nowhere in town. And Suge probably did have a check cut to him later on. Who knows? Because that's how Suge was. I tell y'all, Suge gets a bad rep. Everybody try to give Suge a bad rap. It's like he was beating everybody out of money. Suge's only problem when it comes to the money stuff, and now he's just a compulsive liar. But prior to that, he was just, didn't have an accounting department. A department. Suge would just, you ask for something, you get it once you get him. And he'll cut a check if he had it. If the money had came in, you knew the date to call, Interscope had just dropped that $1.5 million off or whatever, and you asked for it, he made sure you got it. But it's just that, I understand now more so that I'm older. You want to know, you want accounting. You want to know, the black and white. You want to see what you spent, how much you made. Because shit, every month when I get my little check, I'll be like, damn, that's all I got left. I always think I have more money than what I have until And then I look at my checking account and I'll be like, yeah, 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 okay. And then I realized. So I think that was the problem with a lot of the death row artists, but they didn't realize they were spending as much as they were getting, or spending as much as they spent. But everybody was very well taken care of, and it wasn't because of Suge cheating people like people believe out there. It's one thing I do give the compulsive liar credit for.
Did you see a couple days ago, Ray J appeared on Kai Cenat's live stream, and he seemingly went into like a bubble bath shower and then proclaimed that he himself is the new Diddy. Did you see that?
Unfortunately, I saw it. You know, a lot of people want to write it off as trolling, as this trolling, for content and all of that, which I understand. Content is hard to get, and I understand. That's how you get your IG up, and you keep your name out there and all of that by trolling. But if I had the relationship, and I had a relationship with Ray J at one time, but it stopped in about 2007, 2008, with him and after him and Detail went in and made that song One Wish and all that, did what they did with Shaq and my boy Wack 100 and all of them. Wack probably gonna get mad at me because that's his boy. He's supposed to protect his artist, his friend, his little brother, as he call him. But so obvious to me now, and I hope we don't have a situation like we did with Noble, where we all saw that Noble was spinning out of control. If somebody don't grab Little Willie, Ray J, and get him under control, Ray J is fighting one or two things, and I predict in 2026, one of the two things is going to happen to Ray J. He's either going to be institutionalized because of something mental, some mental health, or Ray J's going to come out of the motherfucking closet, y'all. That's what's going on with Ray J, y'all. Y'all don't see all the signs? Well, I know everybody going to say, oh, he just trolling, he just trying. That's not what's going on, y'all. But I hope somebody grab him, get him, help him out. But no grown man play with calling themselves the next Diddy or wanting to jump in the shower and telling people that they want to take a shower with another man. You just don't do that. You don't even play like that. That's not even something. It's not even funny. It's kind of sickening. Unless that's what floats your boat. Now, if that's what floats your boat, then okay. But to play around like that, no. I really believe Ray J is ready to come out of the closet. And he should just do that. 2025, 2026, which is coming up. It's so acceptable in the United States of America. I don't know about other countries because I haven't been to them. But in the United States, man, I don't think anybody have a problem with it. I really don't. And when you're fighting it and you're hiding it, then that's when it beats you up and eats you up inside. And I don't know. I seen even on IG on a couple of his shows where he was seeking psychological help from a young lady, a doctor. And I just wish she would go ahead and convince him. He hanging out with Amber Rose tight, and he seemed to have her as a big sister. I really wish he would just go. Somebody would just let him know that, hey, Ray J, it's okay, dawg. You can come out. You can come out. Now, I don't know of all those things that Suge been claiming and accusing Ray J of and doing and all of that. Hope I don't start catching strays from Ray J behind it, which probably am. I'm speaking as an older guy, just to say, hey, dog, if that's what you're fighting, come on, deal with it. It's okay. I know women, just as I seen them flock to Suge, I seen them flock to Ray J. So I know getting a woman is not a problem. But if you don't want them, then you want something else. Y'all check out his IG. Y'all look at some of the things. Hopefully John can post up some of the stories. He has something now where he's showing his new hair and jerry curl and all of that. But to be playing with talking about you want to jump in the shower with a man. And Ray J is a gangster, claimed to be a pyro. Is that funny? Is that funny, y'all? Peace.
Okay, I don't know if you've been following this, Reggie, but Young Thug, who went through all that court stuff, or RICO and all that stuff last year, it seems like all of his phone calls that he had in jail are now leaking out onto the internet, and people are hearing him, talk badly about certain artists or just, talk badly about other people. So I wanted to see what your thoughts were if it were to come down to this, where Suge's calls in jail leak, because I know you've mentioned before that he's on the phones a lot. If his stuff were to get out there, if you were to speculate, do you think that would do more good or more harm?
Oh my God. Yeah, when somebody do the freedom, it's called the Freedom of Information Act, FIA, where you can request all of that information. And you can get them. It's easy to get if somebody wants to take the time to fill out the paperwork. You could build a YouTube channel, probably make at least $100,000 in 1 year off of just getting those phone calls of Suge and playing them. Y'all see? Well, maybe not, because his value done went way down. Even on my boy's art channel, who is, and I want to caution Suge. Suge, when you're over at art channel, that's like when you was being at Interscope, okay? When you was at Clay Call, that was like you being at Priority. Now, the motherfucker channels you going on and telling all your bullshit too, probably because they don't even want to hear it. That's like when you was with DNA, not even Koch, that company out in Sacramento and shit. So, dawg, you're killing your value. This is what your friend is trying to tell you. Going on all these little bullshit ass channels you've been going on. You dealing with a motherfucker from the UK or somewhere going on his channel, and he don't even use a fucking AI voice. I know you don't realize it, but you going on motherfucking channels like that now. If he can get 3,000 views, I'll be surprised. But okay, keep killing off your value. But there's something called, like I said, Freedom of Information Act. Now somebody's gonna do. And if they get a hold to that, all of those tapings, you remember, like we did? I got all the Harry-O conversations. You remember, we used to set up and listen to them and all of that stuff. So I know how to do it, right? I know how to do it. I'm just being too lazy to do it. But Suge Knight, I hope nobody decides to do that, because, boy, to answer your question, John, family relationships will be messed up. Kids will be tarnished. Women will be gone. I don't think any artist, I can't tell no artist that he's been loyal to publicly, so it wouldn't even surprise me what he said about people behind their backs. I know this, the relationship, the 4 or 5 months that you and I talk, if they just get those, no conversations. Kids would have to go and get psychological help. Nieces and nephews would be devastated to how you feel about family members. So I hope nobody ever decides to do that, but hopefully he'll get conscious or cautious, and he'll remember this when he being two-faced, talking about people behind their backs, talking stuff that you really don't mean, just talking just to try to get a laugh or a joke. Or maybe you really do believe that. I don't really believe you believe half the shit you say. I think you just say it for a laugh. But if that ever happens, John, the shit that young Doug is saying or on these phones and all of that would be nothing. It would be nothing to what Suge Knight be saying and what he talk about people and how he really feel about certain individuals and things. So that would be my cautious or my warning or my advice to one of you YouTubers that want to get off your ass and really get some content. Hint, hint. Peace, smile first.
Okay. Keefe D got his sentence for the kind of jailhouse scuffle that he had. I wanted to get your thoughts on if you thought it was fair or if you thought it was a little much. So it looks like he got 1 to 3 years. And evidently, I would imagine if he were to cut a deal or he were to get convicted of the Tupac thing, I'm assuming they would add these years on. But I wanted to get your thoughts on that as well. So what do you think about the sentencing that happened with Keefe D over this jail fight?
Well, what I think about, I think it's unfair, unless you're the aggressor, or you got some evidence that they've been warning you that hey, no fighting, or you two better cut that shit out. If there's some evidence of that, but from what all we saw on tape, it looked like the guy took his shirt off and was ready to rush Keefe D, and Keefe D was walking with an officer at the time. And I feel Keefe D had the right to defend himself.
D. Davis has been found guilty on 2 counts related to a jailhouse fight he was involved in back in February. It's important to note this case is completely unrelated to the charges Davis faces for the murder of rapper Tupac Shakur. Davis will be sentenced on May 27th.
Now, what he got was actually 16 months, a year and a half. It might have been 18 months, but I think I read 16 months to 4 years. And in Vegas, they have where you can go up for parole or go up if you don't get in any trouble. So a lot of people are like, oh, that don't matter. It don't matter. Well, it matters if you really think, and if you sit in the Keefe D position where you think you're going to beat the case. So if Keefe D does beat the case in March, he still got to do a minimum of 16 months from the date of the sentence, which was, let's just say, in August. So a year is 12 months. So that means he'll have to stay in jail now until at least the end of December of 2026, or really about January, February of 2027. So that's a big deal. If you really believe you're going and those of y'all are rooting for Keefe D to beat this case. I really think it's unfair, like I said, because it appeared to me from what I saw, and like I said, we always speaking on YouTube, and that's what's so unfortunate about stuff, because everything is just so, we only have pieces of whatever's leaked out. And as we know, it'd be a lot more that's two cases and stuff. And so, yeah, that just messes up Keefe D feeling like he can maybe get out of jail in February of 2026 if he beat that case. Now, I'm not one to believe Keefe D is going to beat this case unless his lawyers don't get off their ass and start doing the motions to get all of the videos and books and all of this shit dismissed. And so I heard Suge Knight say that I'm the responsibility for Keefe D being out there and giving interviews and writing books and all of that. Well, I had nothing to do with helping them secure that book deal. But I did pass along his phone numbers to, a couple of YouTube channels. And then he negotiated bags with those different platforms. But I was lining the nigga up because I knew he was going to be running his mouth and talking. So I wasn't the one coming out talking about free Keefe D and all of that. I told y'all when I got mad at Keefe D. And it was like, because I always felt Keefe D and them did what they were supposed to do. The entourage, me having a whack-ass security guard on him, and the niggas in the entourage that was with Suge, and the way they were rolling and all of that is the reason why Death Row and Tupac and all of them look so weak and let Keefe D and them ride up and do what they supposed to do. But when you niggas went and put hands on Orlando, Keefe D and them was supposed to do what they supposed to do. So I ain't have no problems with them doing what they supposed to do, long as you willing to take those penitentiary chances, which they obviously were, the four in that car. But when he started clowning, talking about Tupac break dancing and he saw bullets going, that's when I started talking bad about Keefe and turning on Keefe and calling them in the middle of the night, harassing them and shit. So y'all, when y'all going and telling Mr. Knight all of y'all information, all you half-ass YouTubers that's trying to get 2,000 or 3,000 views, make sure y'all tell them everything that Reggie Wright do and say it and stop giving him the half-ass stories. But it don't care no more. We passed it now. We're done. You can put a fart and roast that motherfucking pig between Reggie and Suge relationship. It's done. Done data. But my whole point is, and all I'm trying to say about the Keefe D thing is, he better try to get all this stuff dismissed. And if he don't, he better not go before no jury, because if so, he's going to be doing life in prison. So I really predict that he's going to be taking a plea deal for about 10 to 15 years. And hopefully he gets out when he's about 75. And then he get another 5 to 7 years of his life to live. Should be his goal. But that's all I see this from that incident. I know I went away from the topic a little bit, but hey, that's the problem. The only problem I have with Keefe D. That's my prediction of what I think gonna happen in March or February. And I'll be glad when it's over, so people can stop all that nonsense and saying Reggie has something to do with the murder of Tupac. Because that bothers me. It does. I know a lot of you clown ass niggas thinking y'all can be Reggie right now. I'm talking about you YouTubers. And get justice for Biggie. Like Reggie got justice for Pac. But you niggas ain't smart enough to do no shit like that. Peace.
I wanted to get your thoughts on this interview video that Faith Evans did, where she seemingly tries to say that the vocals that she did on Tupac's album were something that was taken from a reference vocal that she did for a different group that had nothing to do with Death Row. And just see what you thought, because I know you mentioned previously that you had saw her at the studio. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on this video interview that I'm going to play right now.
Situation with me and Tupac, there really never was a situation. I mean, we met, he was really nice. He asked me to work on his album. He told me he could get it approved or whatever, get clearance from the label. And then I found out that he probably couldn't. I was out there working with another group. I won't name them. They have nothing to do with Death Row.
Okay.
And I was writing for them. That's how I met him. I did a reference vocal for another group I won't name.
Okay.
And it ended up that they were going to try to use the vocal on Tupac's album. So I guess it was for him or whatever. I really don't know. But then I come back home and the first thing I heard has nothing to do with his record is that me and him were like involved or whatever. That's not true at all. I mean,
it was strictly business, no pleasure.
It wasn't even business. It would have been business, but it never got that far.
It was you and somewhere else, and then it was moved on to his project, supposedly.
Pretty much.
Okay.
So you played that part. Well, here's some audio right now that you can play, that you can show, that she was in the studio with Tupac that day. I hope y'all catch the difference. So she's saying, as y'all heard, that she thought she was doing some reference tracks for another group. But here y'all hear now, her and Tupac in there talking. And he pretty much telling her how he wanted her to sing on the song.
That's right. Come on now, it's Papa Pudding. Let's roll. Let's go to the next one.
Oh, white sir.
The white sir.
Oh, white sir. Now you want to ad-lib? You are very uncooperative.
Any other track I can get besides
Oh, money, don't put that. I done did this shit.
You want to go to another deal.
All right.
Let us know. Come back right
Hey, why y'all leaving with the food?
Got their food. Ready to go? Okay, I told you to go to that track where it says stick. I don't need that. You don't need that? I do not need that. You positive. Okay. That's why I said go to that and check.
So we ready?
Yeah. Stick was just something that was there. No necessity for that. You ready?
Are you ready?
If the background's too loud, just speak up.
You're saying,
Don't let Pop do the fucking ad-libs. Why not?
all right, chill out. Hold on.
Here we go. Coming in. From this side, you know that shit.
Duh. What? I'll blow that shit.
You want me to do it in the beginning?
Yeah. Start all over. Yes, please. Take it back.
I'm saying I went into the verse.
That's all right.
All right.
Remember, we can bring you in and out whenever we want.
You want to save it?
Yeah.
What's the chorus? Here we go.
This shit mad fast to be finished.
Hey, but you're doing it.
No.
You doing it though, girl.
Exactly, you are.
All right. The only reason I'm attacking Faith, because I actually kind of like Faith. I ain't got no problem with a chick that, we get down with people that I'm cool with, right? But Faith tried to put him out in another interview like he was kind of like I guess a director chair or a director couch stay, where he tried to make him seem like he had to give him a blowjob to get paid.
And you said that you went to Pac's hotel room and he basically asked for oral sex at that point?
Well, in a very surprising and offensive way, for sure. But I mean, by that time, I think it was pretty clear to me that that was all kind of it seemed to me that was kind of like a plan. You know what I mean? Like you've been kind of like I kind of allowed myself to be played.
So that's the only reason I attack her credibility, because I understand she was a married woman and she's supposed to, deny. As my daddy always told me, he say, you tell a female, who you gonna believe, me or your lying eyes? Who you gonna believe, me or your lying eyes? And so she's supposed to, deny. And so I have no problem with Faith denying this. But when she started making statements, because she done told about 3 or 4 different stories regarding the situation, I'm sure it's a touchy situation, especially as she get older in life and her kids get older, because we was all in our 20s. Shit that we do in our 20s, and then when we look back in our 40s and 50s, we be like, damn, did I do that? Did I really do that? So I really get why Faith tell different stories. I won't even call it lies. Tell different stories. But when she started making it seem like Tupac did a Harvey Weinstein on her, then that's why I go in this, be like, no, Faith, you were in the studio with Pop. Stop telling these stories, girl. Here's the audio. Once again, for y'all that can't hear, Pac and her talking about, he pretty much telling her what he wanted to do. Y'all ain't never heard this before, unless y'all on John's Instagram. So, I'm sorry, not John's Instagram, Bomb First Instagram, which is, John. But, hey, that's all we doing. We're not here trying to bash Faith. I swear we're not. I swear we're just trying to bring evidence that she's not being truthful and evidence that, hey, Tupac and Faith was in the studio together. Hopefully this will be the last time we talk about it. Hopefully she just leave it alone. But that's all we're trying to do. Shout out Faith. Keep doing what you're doing. Keeping Biggie's legacy alive and his kids eating.
Okay, in late 1999, you guys put out the first album of unreleased material with Tupac, which was the Tupac and Outlawz album, Still I Rise. I wanted to see if you could speak a little bit about what was going on at the time between Suge and the estate, and if there was any back and forth, because I know that logo on that album on the internet is kind of synonymous because there are no logos on the back. It's just credited as an Interscope album. So I know Edie had spoken on this a while ago on his channel, and he mentioned why he believes that the promotion ended for that album. But I just wanted to get your thoughts on what was going on between you guys and the estate during the making or release of that Still I Rise album.
Well, once we got everything worked out with Afeni, Ms. Shakur, everything was good. So that's not why the promotion of the album stalled or stopped. Because you kind of asked me 2 questions. So the first part, I'll go in, and that was your boy Reggie Wright idea. Reggie Wright came up with this idea about the no logos. Because Suge felt, hey, they are Death Row artists. This is a Death Row album. It should just be Death Row and Interscope on the back. Afeni was like, hey, no, I control these songs along with Death Row. And my son, meaning Tupac, is on the album. Amaru should be on the back. And they were going back and forth about that because, our thing is, hey, these Outlaw's a Death Row artist now. But we knew we needed those Tupac songs, and we couldn't get them without Afeni signing off. We probably could have, but the way the agreement was, the settlement agreement was done, and Interscope was like raising their hands like, y'all work it out, please. And so I came up with the agreement. I was like, okay, Suge. I went to Suge and said, Suge, can we just do it? Because we will need money, and I think we was getting a $3 million advance for that. And I was like, can we just not put any logos on the back? And I think we even wrote something in the description about Death Row and all that, whereas, because, I'm one of those who believe you put shit in writing for black folks, they don't read it and they won't catch it. So I think it says something about Amaru and Death Row in the lines, or it might even just have Universal and Interscope. Forget how it was. But Suge just really wanted the logo on the back, but he acquiesced to it. He gave me permission to go ahead and let the album come out with no logos on the back other than Interscope. And I don't even know if Interscope was on the back, but John may correct me, because it might have just been in the writing, for to show the ownership. But I'm not for sure. I'm not 100% on that. But I'm sure John will post this up for y'all. So that's what happened with the reason why Amaru or Death Row wasn't on the back of Still I Rise album. However, that was a Death Row album, right? All right. Now, the second part that John brought up is why the album went dead or went silent. Because the album sold 2 million records, which wasn't great for Death Row standards in 98, because we still living off of 95, 94, and 96 standards, right? It turned out to be great for our standards, 99, 2000, 2001, but it wasn't great for what we was used to. And so it did about 2 million sales. And so, but the way you have to pretty much promote an album back in the day is you got to get out and work them and do like shows and MTV and videos and all of that stuff. It's how you needed to really market or promote an album. So y'all know who our cash cow or who we was banking on at the time was the Realest and Top Dog, right? We was trying to really promote the sound-alikes. I'll admit, messed up the Realest career, because the Realest is a hell of a writer and a talent. But him being loyal to his label, he played along with the sound-alike stuff, or that image, or that gimmick. That's what it turned out to be, a gimmick. And I hate that we did that to the Realest to this day. But, so what we did is we went to the Outlawz and Edie and them and was like, I need Edie, I need the Realest to perform songs with y'all as if he was Pop, and y'all do y'all parts, the promotion, and to go on tour and all of that. And the Outlawz was livid. The Outlawz was like, no, we can't do that. They cool to this day with the Realest. I actually think they kind of do shows like that with the Realest now. But they all are cool as a motherfucker, right? Great relationship, especially Edie and the Realest relationship. But they wasn't going for that, I guess it was too soon, the term too soon. And so they shot it down. Reggie and Suge being as they are, we shut them down. And that's why we kind of killed the Outlawz Still I Rise album. So that's what happened. And that's why the album got shut down. That's when, after that, that's when Mutau came up and asked to be released. And we gave him some parameters to get released. And it all got worked out. Now, I do remember something happening later when Suge came home, where they came up to Sound Castle Studio and they try to act like they did some banging or something on some of the stories. But as I remember, they were released prior to that and before that. So I don't get what that confrontation was about or that conversation, but we never really had a confrontation with them. I forget what that was about, but the main thing was, and shout out to Napoleon, because he helped me, don't even know it, he helped me live probably for about, until about 2018, because he's the one that introduced me and gave me the number to Alan Grumblock. It was actually a guy named Cliff that worked over at Koch Entertainment. And as y'all know, I worked for Koch Entertainment all the way up until 2018. But Napoleon is the one that told me, hey, these guys want to do some business with y'all if y'all ever able to or in position or want to do something. And the only person that I knew that they had did at that time was the Yin Yang Twins and the Outlawz. But as y'all know, from that point on, was Suge allowing me to take his catalog over there and negotiate the deal with E1 Entertainment, Koch. Y'all know how big they became in the urban and the and in the in the urban market and independent labels, which, hey, I had worked out a deal for Suge until, the bankruptcy and everything, where everything urban that came out on Koch Entertainment, Suge was getting a 5% override. He lost all that in the bankruptcy, but could y'all imagine Suge getting 5% off of all of those black acts that came over there at Koch? Yeah. I made about $120,000 a year because my salary was $10,000 a month until 2018. So, yeah, E1, Koch, and that deal with the Outlawz, them going breaking away and finding Koch Entertainment helped me out tremendously. Even my boy John had a job over there for a while. So, shout out Koch Entertainment.
Okay. I hear that Suge Knight is making a big deal about the truck that Buntry was in at the time when he was getting gas and ultimately ended up passing away. I was wondering if you could just go into detail about when you purchased it for him, why you purchased it for him, and just the whole kind of clear up about the truck that Buntry was in.
Yeah, I don't know. I heard Suge rambling on somewhere about the truck got taken from me or seized or I don't even know what he was talking about, to be honest. I can half listen to Suge anymore. And that my daddy went in. I don't even know what he was talking about. But what happened was, when Suge came home in 2001, August of 2001, Suge had no driver license, and he wanted security or people, not security. He wanted me, Bob Gotti, or Buntry around him at all times. I mean, it wasn't nowhere that pretty much we didn't get. We didn't go where me and Bob Gotti wasn't with him. And Buntry was like the backup. But Buntry had Trayvon with him because he was riding with Trayvon because he didn't have a car. And Trayvon was driving Buntry around. And so this went on until about October, and me and Bob Gotti got burnt out. I mean, we was working, we was just hanging with that nigga all night. But he had got a new spot that we had found for him and Michelet, from this doctor up in, I forget, it was a nice spot. He had got up somewhere in Topanga Canyon or somewhere. And he didn't want nobody to know where he stayed but me and Buntry and Michelet and him, right? He didn't want nobody to come up there. I remember we had a party. He gave a party at the house for his family on New Year's Eve. And shit, he had me have them take buses, and he wanted me to get buses where they couldn't even see out because he didn't want them to know how to get to the house. But shit, it was so hard to get there. I don't even think they remembered if they could. So this is how he was being real cagey about this location. And so, well, me and Bob Gotti was tired, and Trey, a bunch of excuses always, I gotta go, because Trey wasn't there. And so I was like, plus Butcher was the homie and all of that. And then shit, everything else was already in my name. The building, the publishing, Miss Chalet limo, one of Tammy cars, the Suge, the car, two of the cars Suge was riding around in. Telling y'all. And so I was like, shit, I'm going to get Butcher a car. So I asked Butcher, what you on, nigga? He said, GMC Denali. I remember I had this other GMC car that I had. His girl Trish riding around there. A Tahoe. Two-door Tahoe. And Trisha went and got in some trouble and all that. So I took it from Trish, Peaches. And I said, I'm trading that motherfucking car in because I can't ride around there no more. Because she had been riding around in it all in 60 neighborhood. And tricking and who knows what she was doing. And so I went and took that car and traded it in and got the black Denali. Came and said, here, Buntry, here's your car. Here's a car for you to drive around in. We never gave cars. Back then, we didn't buy cars outright or anything. Everything was leased or something, because after 2 or 3 years, we didn't want them motherfuckers no more. You only wanted classics and stuff. And so, I don't know if it was a lease or a purchase. I don't know, but I knew we wasn't going to want it, and I know we didn't buy it and pay it outright. It was still payments on it. Payments like $1,000 a month, which was high back then. And so, Butcher was riding around in it and all of that. But in the meantime, in about January, I'm out of there. Suge is still back on the bullshit. We going to clubs, getting into fights in clubs and stuff. And shit, we got called in by LAPD, specialized unit, telling us we can't go to no more nightclubs in LA. And if we do, they're going to violate his parole and probation. And I'm like, man, Suge done came back home on this dumb shit again. He's still on this stupid shit. And so I'm burnt out. I had a number of white folks working around the office and shit. Office all clean. He coming home, firing everybody, treating them like shit, treating all the white folks like shit, right? Hiring all these thugs and all these niggas and that didn't want to do nothing but sit around and party with him all night and smoke. Whatever. So I'm like, you know what? I'm out of here. I ain't getting my house raided no more, because by that time, my house had been raided about 2 times behind this bullshit. And I'm like, and then I got, now my name is good out there. I got executives coming trying to get me to want to hire me. So I go get this job at this company called American Music with Dave Mishu, where I had All For One and the boys from Chicago. I can't never think of their name, but they were real big. Busy Bone, the Relatives, and all of them. So I'm running this urban department over there, and I'm doing all of this music with American Music. And so I leave, right? And I leave the car. During that time, now niggas is tripping, and bunch of get killed, right? In my car, right? Y'all done heard all the rumors, which I'm glad Suge proved. Talking about my daddy was in the car. How all the speculations go. Y'all seen that got cleared up. Even Suge, everybody know now it was Tie Stick. Pretty sure we all agree it was Tie Stick in the car now, right? So y'all know when a car get involved in a murder and all of that at a murder scene, what they gonna do? The police gonna impound it. They impound it, right? Section it, check it out. About a week later, they released the car to me. The registered owner, who was me. I go get the car. I ain't fucking with Suge and them no more and all of that. And so I'm fucking with this nigga Tata, Lloyd Lake now. The nigga that, you know, me and him was partners with the relatives and all of that. I go, let Lloyd Lake, Tata start driving the car and doing it. That's my new partner. You know, me and him been doing business together. And then he get popped. He get arrested doing some dumb shit, you know. And so then I go take the car from Lloyd Lake, Tata. And then, so that's the history on the car. What Suge talking about? Anything else is this Suge speculating? Don't know what he's talking about. Well, I don't understand. But so that's the history on the car. Buntry family ain't ever was entitled to the car, thought about the car, or probably even wanted the car. Who wanted a car where somebody got killed in it? You know? Ain't nobody from their family ever asked me to inquire about the car. I remember a couple of times Suge was supposed to look out for Buntry's son, and they were trying to repossess his car. And I came over there and gave James or Timmy, I forget which one it was, some money so they could make sure that the car note was paid for the son, because they told me Suge wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. But all the other stuff Suge is talking is jibber jab. He done learned. Weaponized Buntry against Reg for not coming to the funeral and this, and get the homies against me in his mind, or maybe trying to get James against me. I don't know. And then y'all know how he like to use Tupac as a weapon against people. So that's all I can think is going on. But whatever he's talking about, he can keep talking. It ain't gonna change my life one way, and ain't gonna get him out of prison from having to do those 9 years that he got left. See you in 2034. Hopefully you can see me in 2034. I don't think you're gonna be able to see me. You can't see me. Peace bomb first.
Okay, I heard this Suge interview on like a random YouTube channel, but he was saying things along the lines of like, Reggie, you need to let your wife go. Please let your wife go, blah, blah, blah. I just wanted to get your thoughts when you hear him say stuff like that to try to make stuff so personal.
I don't care about what Suge talking about. Has he left Toy go? He done caught Toy. They got text messages with Toy when she got arrested. They know I got those text messages. When the lead investigator, Sergeant on the case, was flirting with Toy, and they started messing around. So, but it saved her from, because when he raided her house and he found all that identity theft stuff in there, where she was still in that football player. Y'all know the football player. Y'all want me to name the football player that Toy was messing around with while she was with you? Sure. You want me to name that name? The football player. Ask her about that. That they were still an identity from. And I always wondered why she didn't get booked for that. But then I heard what was going on with her and Sergeant Biddle. I heard what was going on with that, so I know now it all makes sense to me. But did you let her go? She still messing with Cisco, right? The thong guy. They still be communicating. I don't know how. I always thought Cisco was gay, but I guess he's not. But then I know you and Toy, y'all like doing all that threesome bullshit, so maybe that's the reason. But you giving me, my wife need to let me go. My wife loves me. What's wrong? My son, that still work. I can do that to my wife. I can do whatever. What can you do other than talk on the phone and have her talk nasty to you and you jack? You took her whole youth. Her whole youth. She's been with you since she was about 26, 27 years old. And you've been in prison that whole time. Did you let her go? Did you let her go? So now you giving me advice? Let her go. She gets her freak on. I told y'all, I know when Wack told me when he walked into the restaurant. Huh? Who was over there? Who she was sitting in the corner with talking to? So she getting her thing on, which, hey, shout out. But I bet you she still get 20 calls from you a goddamn day. But you bugging her, trying to keep up with her. I know how much you used to call Jasmine on the phone when I was talking to y'all and all of that. She was connecting you on the phone to me at least 10 to 15 times a day. So you can't let them go. And you still got another 9 years. There ain't nothing you can do for them. You killing their youth off. They gonna be 50s. 50s. They ain't gonna be bleeding no more. They ain't gonna be able to bleed no more when you get out. Did you let them go? Nigga, don't play with me. And then you ain't gonna be able to see no way when you come home. You gonna have your seeing eye dog helping you say, oh, here's the pussy, here's the pussy, here's the pussy right here. And that seeing dog, our dog gonna be able to tell you how to lick that pussy. Nigga, don't play with me. Stop it. I said I wasn't gonna fuck with you no more. I'm trying not to. But keep on. Don't hurt your feelings. I won't let those text messages come out. I heard there's a sex tape out there with her. I'm gonna let it come out. I gotta bid in for it. I'm in negotiation with it. I'll build a channel. Well, I don't know. There is crimes against that. So I'll figure out the correct way to release it. Because I know how tender dick you are about these bitches. I know how you get. I'm not a tender dick nigga. But my wife loves me. I take good care of my wife, nigga. She ain't going nowhere. Bet you I ain't got to worry about my wife cheating on me. I done showed you pictures of the one you fell in love with while you're in jail. With 20 different, well, 15. I'm going to exaggerate like you. 15 different stars. You don't think 3 of those stars hit that? You don't think 3 of them hit that? Leave me alone, Suge Knight. Peace.